Hello guys, I believe we are all doing great. Thanks for joining us. This is Stone's Graphics here. In today's tutorial, we shall be looking at how you can create this marketing art poster for NESCAFÉ using Pixellab on your Android smartphone. If you are joining us for the first time, please kindly subscribe. And without wasting much of your time, this is coming up. So guys, the first thing we are going to do here is to go back to our default page right now. So welcome back to Pixellab. This is the default interface that you normally see once you launch your Pixellab. I'm deleting the text and straight away we are heading to set the design size. So we are working with an 11th value today for the width, which is 1136, and the height 1280. Subscribe to the channel, smash the subscribe button, turn on notification to receive other awesome tutorials that we'll be sharing here on our channel regularly. After doing all of this, right now we want to proceed to background setting, which is this other button here. So we're going to import the background from our gallery. I shall be sharing this same background with you guys on the link provided in the video description. You can get it from there. So I just want us to rotate this background for now. Okay, so rotate it. After rotating it, shift it now to the extreme right. Okay, why we are rotating this is simply because I want us to make use of these beautiful light effects here, although I'm going to add some other light effects in the course of the tutorial. So watch it closely and see how we do that. About that, we're going to click here on the check mark in order to proceed. So we have our background, and like I said, it's for NESCAFÉ, so we're going to bring in a NESCAFÉ image element here. I can guess the aroma that smells or that comes with this perfect NESCAFÉ gold blend, right? So we have this here, and just increase it in size, and you can position it right here. Okay, so every element that you place on a surface, on a flat surface, should normally reflect a shadow. So that's what we always say. And about that, we're going to create a shadow. There are two basic types of shadows that we can apply here. I want to go with the first, which is very easy also. All right, so just go to shape, select a square shape, then go to gradient, and we're going to create our shadow. Now click here and here, reduce this color completely to the negative end, click on OK. Then you want to click on this fourth gradient button, right down here, swap this color, then reduce this closer and click on OK to proceed. Then we have our shadow, but then we are going to change the color to black, and now you stretch this out, right? Just stretch this out so it can look much more realistic. So we can just place it here, and as you can see, we have created the shadow. So let's just make it much more realistic, all right, by placing it just below this NESCAFÉ image. So we have our shadow. You can now push it to the back, as simple as that. So do your adjustments, make sure it's perfect. Okay, so we have a shadow, but I would love us to use a second shadow kind. So I want to delete the first right now, and we're going to copy this NESCAFÉ. I want us to use a different kind of shadow formation. Subscribe to the channel if you are new, and turn on notifications to receive other amazing tutorials that we share. So go to opacity right now, use the opacity of this to 0, then go to shadow and enable your shadow. Click on the plus button to do your adjustments on the shadow strength. So reduce the intensity of this shadow. Okay, so we can have this. Now place it directly on top of the first NESCAFÉ product or element. Now go to your layer and let's just centralize this to the middle for now. Then we're going to push them up also, so that we can really see what we are doing. Okay, now send the shadow image. I can see this one, place it directly on top of the first, and what we are going to do now is to align it properly, but then send it on the layer panel. Let's send it to back, and once you send it to back, go now to this very awesome tool called the perspective tool. So it's here that we are creating the shadow. All right, so shift this right down here, shift this down here also, place it on a flat surface, then enable it, enable the shadow. Now you can drag this, stretch this out. All right, I believe you can now see how the shadow is casting on the surface. So do your adjustments neatly. Okay, do your adjustments neatly, and boom, we have our shadow. So click on the check mark and you are good to go. So you can now go to layer, selecting the two, and you mesh everything together. So we have our image tied to the shadow. So we can bring it right here, and you can see that it's very much realistic. So we can leave it like that. And the next thing we're going to do is to bring in this other coffee element, which is here. Now we're reducing the size of this and sending it to back. Okay, let's send it to back. Let's reduce the size further. So right here about that, just indicate which kind of shadow you love. All right, is it the one we create with the perspective tool, or just the one we create with our normal shape using the gradient effect? So I'm just going to use the same kind of shadow effect here by copying this. I have two of it. Go to your opacity. So if you do not follow the first process of creating the shadow, you can as well follow this one. So reduce the opacity completely to 0, go to shadow and give it a shadow. So we're giving it the same kind of color, a light dark color. Okay, send it to back. As you send it to back, go to perspective tool and play around with it just like we did for the first one. Okay, enable it, then you can easily stretch it out. And that is the function of your perspective tool. That is how it helps you to achieve this kind of shadow effects. Okay, so we can now as well go to layer and lock everything up. Right, so now after locking everything up, the next thing we're going to do is to bring in some other important elements. But at this juncture, I want to beg on you to subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss out whenever other awesome tutorials are released. Okay, so right now what we're going to do is to go to our import button, which is here, and I have this very awesome element of NESCAFÉ once again that we shall be using. So for that, I'm going to reduce this in size and just bring it here. Now you look carefully, you make sure that all your elements are falling on the same line. Okay, they should be placed on the same kind of line. Now we're going to send this to back, send it to back, and let's give it a shadow. So this time around, I want us to use the shape format of creating our shadow. I don't want us to go with the perspective way, right? But then we already have the shadows here that I created, so we're just going to pick one of them and we use it. So let's go change the color to black. Since shadows are always black, then you can compress this and stretch this out neatly. Then you can position it just below the cup, okay, and you send it to back and you position it neatly. And you can go to opacity and reduce the opacity a bit, then you lock it up also. About that, everything is well in place. The next thing we're going to do now is to bring in this coffee element, which is also very important for the design. So we're going to leave it here. All right, just position it right here. Let's increase this in size a bit. So I'm going to reduce this in size a bit and I position it just directly below this other element. So everything is well in place. We can now go to layer and lock this up all. Now I have the NESCAFÉ logo, which is here with me, right? I just got this from Pinterest and I did not bother removing the background because I know there is a simple hack on removing backgrounds in your Pixellab application. So how do you remove the background of this, the black color? Just go to erase color, enable your erase color neatly, and what you're going to do is to use a color picker. So if you look here, you will see this color picker. Just click on it and pick out the black color, then click on your check mark, which will now enable you to do away with the black color. So as you can see, the color has been removed. You can increase the tolerance a bit to about 26%, then we're good to go. So we can now zoom this right down here. All right, and we're going to place it neatly on this extreme left corner or left side of our design. Thank you so much if you have subscribed to the channel already, but if you haven't, please kindly subscribe and make sure you've liked the video for more other awesome tutorials. Thank you so much for doing that. Now what we're going to do now is to click here on this text, and on the new text we're going to write extra feelings. So it's a product art, and it will be so nice bringing this kind of advertisement words that go along with the advertisement. So we're going to use this one, extra feelings, right? Just extra feeling, and we go and use a font called Trajax. So you can download this Trajax font on yadafonts.com. Now go to color and let's just give it this dark green color. Using a position button, you can shift it neatly to make sure it falls just directly below the NESCAFÉ icon. Now go to your text styles, which is this button, and enable the bold option so it can be bold enough for potential customers to see once this marketing ads passes by. Now we have everything well in place, and right now I'm going to bring in some lens flare images here. All right, we need to make the background busy by bringing in some lens flare. So you can just go on Pinterest. If you don't have it, download Pinterest on your Google Play Store, where you can have Pinterest. Just search for lens flare and you have very beautiful lens flares that you can download. All right, so I got one from lens flare, one lens flare from Pinterest. So that's why I'm going to take you to my folder on pins, and this is a lens flare. This is what I'm talking about. Right now we're going to use the same kind of removing color hack, the same color remover hack, which is erase color. Enable it, use the color picker and pick out the black and increase your tolerance, right? Increase the tolerance completely to 70. So we're going to increase this in size, position it here, then reduce the opacity. So I just want the background to be somehow busy, right? I'm still going to bring in some other lens flare, but that will be on another application in a while from now. So let's just copy these lens flares and position them here. We can even reduce the opacity a bit again, right? Let's just reduce the opacity once again. Okay, so after achieving all of these, we check and everything is well in place. The next thing we are going to do is to save our work. So let's save our image as PNG and as Ultra. So at this juncture, please kindly subscribe to the channel, share the video, like it up, drop your comments on what you think so far. So let's wait for our design to be saved, and it's done. We go now to our Pixellab application to add a lens flare to make the design much more popped out. So if you have not downloaded Pixellab, please kindly do so. Download it from your Google or App Store. It's very easy to use. So right now, about that, we're going to click on this plus button, which will now allow us to bring in our design. So click on the plus button, select your design, which is this. All right, and I hope by now you must have already downloaded your lens flare from Pinterest. Sorry, if you have done so, then look at what we're going to do. Just go to this other button here called add photo. So click on add photo, and it will now take you to your gallery. So I'm going to search for where I have the lens flare, and it's on my pins folder. Search out for your lens flare. Here is it. Here it is, and I'm just going to add it up into the design, and I size it to cover the entire length of the design. Now let's use this powerful button here called the blending option, which is this one, and we're going to use an option called overlay. All right, so depending on you can use any of them. You can see there is add, there is overlay, there is lighten, but I love to use overlay, okay, because it gives the design this wonderful look. Now what we're going to do is to go to opacity. All right, go to your opacity. This is opacity here for the lens flare. So let's reduce the opacity a bit. Okay, touch down the opacity a bit to about 73 or just 70 per se. Right, 70, 73, thereabouts. It's just okay, it's fine, there are no issues. Now you want to click here on the check mark, and our design is perfectly ready. So you can see the extra beauty that this Pixellab application has given to the product art poster design. From Pixellab, we've achieved this kind of awesome result using a Pixellab, which is helping us now to have a very realistic kind of design. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, what are you waiting for? Please kindly subscribe to make sure you don't miss out when other videos are released. Right now we're going to save our work by clicking on the download button, and it's ready. So let's go see the magic between the design on Pixellab and the one on Pixellab. So here it is. This is for Pixellab after we have added the additional Pixellab editing, and this is the initial design on Pixellab. So all of this was achieved using basically your Android smartphone, right? So thank you so much for watching this tutorial. That will be it for this tutorial today on the NESCAFÉ product arts poster design using Pixellab application and the Pixellab application. I will leave the link to all the resources I've used in the video description. Please kindly subscribe. See you in the next video. God bless you.